I want to ask you, what compelled you to sign this letter?
Well, I, like the others who signed the letter, have been concerned for some time about Mr. Trump and the prospect that he would first win the nomination, which unfortunately he did, and now that he might win the presidency, which he has some chance of doing. So I felt, when given the opportunity to express my concern, that I should take it.
Why do you see him as a danger to the nation's security?
There are many reasons to oppose Mr. Trump, just as there would be any normal candidate. One can point to his lack of experience in politics, government, foreign affairs. Fair enough. One can disagree with his positions on many issues, and I certainly would. But the point of the letter was to emphasize the concerns that many have about his temperament. He's shown himself to be erratic, has difficulty in controlling his emotions, says whatever comes to mind. These are not qualities that one wants to have in the commander-in-chief of the United States.
Was there a specific tipping point for you? Because Donald Trump has been saying quite controversial things for the past few months now, notwithstanding, insulting women and Muslims, but, also saying, listen, I know more about ISIS than generals. He said complimentary things about a rival nation, Russia. At what point did you say, all right, enough is enough? We've got to do something like this?
Well, personally, I've expressed my opinions about Mr. Trump going back several months. I was signatory of a previous letter from a number of people expressing similar concerns. I co-authored an op-ed in March with a friend and colleague of mine that called on senior Republican defense and foreign policy officials to speak out against Mr. Trump, which at the time didn't have a whole lot of impact. So for me, this has been a growing concern. It's an accumulation, I think, in the last couple of weeks. Of course, there have been a number of things that one can point to. One is his call to President Putin, for whom he's expressed great admiration, to involve himself in the U.S. elections by releasing emails that he may have stolen from the computers of the Democratic National Committee or from Hillary Clinton. And then also at his response to Mr. Khan, who spoke at the Democratic Convention. I think for many people that was the final straw.
Yeah, I want to ask you, though, what you fear the most if Trump were to become president when it comes to America's standing in the world and America's long-standing alliances, including with NATO.
Well, he's already done a good deal of damage, I think, by raising doubts in the minds of our friends and allies about the future commitment of the United States. He said that our allies don't pay enough. If they don't pay more, we're going to withdraw from these alliances. He doesn't seem to understand the arrangements that we've worked out over decades, where, in fact, our allies do contribute to supporting our forces there. He doesn't seem to understand the benefits that the United States derives from having forward bases and alliances around the world. He's made reckless statements about nuclear weapons. He doesn't seem to understand the structure of the U.S. nuclear forces. He didn't know what the nuclear triad was. So he's poorly informed. And I think, again, this question of temperament arises. If you imagine a president having to make decisions in a very short period of time that could have life or death consequences for millions of people, you want someone who is cool and level-headed and knows what they're doing. And Mr. Trump clearly does not.